We need yarn, needles, scissors, a yarn needle and a pair of buttons. We start on the sole making a slip knot and we cast on 21 stitches. You can use the way to cast on that you prefer. In this case we use the long tail cast on. Remember how to make it. Remember to cast on 21 stitches. On the first row we knit 10 stitches. Place a marker, knit another stitch, place another marker and knit the 10 last stitches. In this row, in the second row, we start making the increases. On the first stitch we knit from back. Remember, we knit the stitch and knit the same stitch on the back part. And here we have the first increase. And knit all the stitches to the first marker. And here we will make one increase before and one increase after the stitch. The increase is make one. We take the yarn between the two stitches, place it on the left needle and knit it on the back part. Knit this stitch and repeat one increase. Take the yarn between the stitches, place it on the left needle and knit the stitch on the back part. And continue knitting the stitches to the last stitch. And in the last stitch we make another knit from back, another increase knit from back. We have one increase on each corner and one increase on each side of the stitch of the center. In the row number 3 we knit all the stitches. On the row number 4, we start again with one knit from back. Continue with knit stitch to the marker. Repeat another make one increase. Knit 3. Continue with a make one increase. Knit all the stitches to the last stitch of this row, where we make one knit from back. On the row number 5, we knit all the stitches. On the row number 6, we start with a knit from back. Knit to the marker. Continue with a make one increase. Knit one, make one increase, knit 3, a make one increase, knit 1, and a make one increase. And continue with knit stitch to the last stitch, where we make a knit from back. From the row number 7 to the row number 10, we make knit stitch to the end. We make knit stitch. Remember, rows 7 to 10 knit stitch. Work the knit stitch. If you want, you can remove the markers because we are not using it. On the row number 11, we have to change the color. Work all the row with knit stitch, but with the new color. And continue working the knit stitch to the row number 16. On the row number 17, we knit 12 stitches. Continue with 2 decreases, knitting 2 together, so knit 2 together. Repeat knit 2 together. Continue with another decrease, but now we knit 3 together. Repeat the knit 2 together twice. And work the knit stitch to the end. The next 2 rows we work the knit stitch. Work the knit stitch on the rows 18 and 19. On the row number 20 we knit 7 stitches. We bind off all the stitches, leaving 7 stitches on the other corner. So knit 1, knit the next one and place and take the first stitch and pass it over the second stitch. This is the way that we bind off. Knit 1 and pass the previous stitch over the second stitch. Once we have 7 stitches on the left needle and 1 stitch on the right needle, we bind off another stitch and work the knit stitch to the end. And we have 7 stitches in one side, 7 stitches on the other side, and in between the bind off stitches. Now we continue working with one side of the stitches. If you want, you can leave the other 7 stitches. We continue with knitting the 7 first stitches. And now we have to cast on 11 stitches like this. So cast on 11 stitches. Once we have the 11 stitches, we work the knit stitch on the 18 stitches. On the next row, work the knit stitch to 5 stitches before the end. Once we have 5 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over again, knit 2 together, and knit the last stitch. Continue with knit 2, where we have the yarn over, knit 1, on the second yarn over, knit but taking the back loop, knit on the back part. Now we have the buttonhole, and continue with knit stitch to the end. On the next row, work all the stitches with knit stitch. And we only have to bind off. We only have to cut the yarn, leaving a long tail to sew later, and continue now with the 7 stitches that we already have on the needle. We make a slip knot and place the slip knot on the front part of the shoe. And cast on 11 stitches. Once we have the 11 stitches, we knit those stitches and continue with the 7 stitches, so knit 18 stitches in this row. Continue with knit a stitch to 5 stitches before the end, knit 2 together, yarn over twice and knit 2 together, and finish with one knit stitch. Continue with knit 2, knit the first yarn over, knit the second yarn over on the back part of the stitch, and continue with knit a stitch to the end of this row. Work knit a stitch on the next row and continue the following row, binding off all the stitches. Now we only have to sew the bootie, and using the same color of yarn of the sole, we have to sew to close the bootie. Once we close the sole, we have to make the same with the back part, with the color, with the second color. And now we only have to sew the buttons and we finish the baby shoe.